Hello and welcome back to the Finish the Line. I'm your host, Andrew Halligan, and as always, I'm joined by himself, Dave, Tom, who's up back with Tom, and we're joined by Andrew Blair today. Andrew, welcome to the madness. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very good. Thanks for having me on. Pleasure. I've been watching a lot of the recent videos, so it's been good to get on and share my allegiances around the podcast world at the moment.
It's good to have you on, and you can hopefully keep a hold up now. There we go.
We hope you don't get as much stick as Andrew does, because when Andrew goes on your show, me and Dave abuse him for a good week afterwards. So I hope you don't get as much abuse off Josh.
We're still abusing.
Shut up. Hey, that fucking 50 to 1.
We're still abusing him about the day he had the something about Mary hair. It was really hitting a light bulb.
You've seen there's something about Mary, right? It was literally like straight over.
At least I can do it. You're bald and you may as well just shave your head.
Man, yeah, we're going to take a look like that.
I don't know about the point he's getting to shut up.
Tom, you're looking less bald as the days are going on, I have to say. Whatever's going on, whoever's cutting your hair, I told you last time. He knows
it's going to go back to looking bald again now because of the lockdown. I can't get it cut. So it's going to go like out here and not out here. So it's going to look really bold. Like,
You're going to look like a monk.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Oh, very good.
Just shave with Tom.
I can't. I've got an awful shaped head.
Oh, I have a great thing.
Oh,
no.
What you going to say?
Is it?
Yeah.
No.
8% of the person who wins the Gold Cup, you have to shave your head.
No.
Well,
that you're just an absolute.
Terrible.
I've got such a shaped head, right? That when I used to work.
Andrew, would you like to see that?
Oh, big time, yeah. Gotta give the people what they want to see,
right?
I'm going to start a poll on Instagram. That's what I'm going to do.
My followers aren't on Instagram, Dave. They're all too old.
He's not going to win, so in the first 3.
To make it around.
Ooh.
Make it around.
No.
Anyway.
We'll convince you yet, Tom.
Speaking of jump racing, we're at the starting from next Saturday. We are doing a tipping competition for the whole of the jump season. It consists of 4 races. Every weekend you get to pick one horse in each race. The entry fee is €20, but the more people we get, the bigger the prize fund will be. As of now, it's $150 for first, $100 for second, $50 for third, and $20 for fourth. But at the end of each month, the person who's accumulated the most points over that month gets free bets at the end of the month. So it's a bit of crack. It's only for €20. If we enter it, yeah, we're in it. Andrew, you're in it as well, by the way.
Yeah, big time.
How many times did you rehearse that?
I didn't.
I'm impressed. You only got one thing wrong the whole time.
Did I? One thing wrong?
You said the end of the week instead of the month.
I know.
Of all the things, I'm impressed.
Thanks. I genuinely haven't practiced.
Well done.
I'm getting good at this. So I will put, all you have to do is email the finishing line and just put it in the head and betting tips, and I will send you on everything you need to know about it, or the point system, how the table will work, when you get the leaderboard updated, everything. So just email the finishing line 2017@gmail.com. I'll put it in the description and we go for there. We have a good few signed up already. Look, be a bit of crack, 20 quid for the whole year. And I forgot one thing. The prize will be paid out the week before Cheltenham. So you'll have all of Cheltenham to waste it on then.
Or win money, not waste your money.
Yeah, but when you say waste, it's you don't care if you lose it.
We do not condone all the mistakes he makes, and then I make one straight away.
Good day, lad.
Not as bad as the Racing Post. Did you see that, lads? The other day, their article on the guy who spent he was like homeless on the street for a couple of weeks. Spent his last paycheck on a football accumulator. It won. And now he's buying top lots at the sale for 150 grand. He's got like 20 horses in training.
Wow.
You imagine the Racing Post. Like, that was their headline. Their headline was my last paycheck was on a football accumulator and it won. and now I'm buying top plots.
So Dave Yates.
No, no, it's shocking.
Who buys Don Poli and bloody Black Line for like 2 million?
The amount of money on Don Poli over the weekend, and he done as usual going backwards towards the end of the race. So.
And we will start with the weekend review with that. What Dave said, Don Poli made his reappearance. Tom was more impressed than many about that run.
Tom, you backed him. I know you did.
I didn't back him, no. But I thought he ran a nice race. It's the best race he's run in a long, long time. And I actually thought Harry Skelton kicked on like a long way down the back. And if he wouldn't have done that, I think he'd have been a clear second behind the winner. So
he has one pace, and it's backwards. Like he's gone. He's gone since he won the RS. What's the RSA he won?
Yeah, that's like 20. The RSA one was terrible.
Yeah.
If he finished second, you two would be like, "Oh, he ran well."
No, I won't.
If he won, would you have said he ran well? No.
It's like a shit race if he won. We're realistic. He's gone. There's no way back from him.
Was he in the Fox Hunters last year?
Yeah.
You said it. You put him up, or Emma Kendi. Emma Kendi put him up. I can't believe that. Convinced him then to back him. And I was sitting in the pub, which is like the last day we were in the pub nearly.
It was.
And he's like, I'm backing Don Poli. I was like, I don't even want to slip his legs.
I actually didn't in the end. I didn't in the end. I think I backed someone worse.
Talking of you two backing horses that you always say you'll never back. We started off the weekend review a couple of days ahead. We need to go back to Friday of last week. What happened Friday of last week, lads?
Make good.
Oh, make good.
9 lengths he went and won by.
What happened then on Sunday? He got best again.
I know. Poor right that on Sunday.
What
kicks on like 2 out on that thing? Who you want to be about? You want to be in front of stride before the line, but
Andrew, what do you think of Make Good?
Well, I backed him on Friday myself, so
Andrew.
I'm backed against him on Monday and got him beat. So yeah, he's a horse high in my estimations at the moment. For his attempt to duck out at the last at Wexford really did me a favour, to be honest, because I was on Rachel's horse. So he's up in my estimations, I'd have to say.
So he's like still down here somewhere.
Yeah. You gotta start low, like he's rated around 50 on the flat, like so.
Yeah, he is what he is, but he's lovable. But
there's a few horses now are synonymous with this podcast, and he's definitely one anyway.
Tom, you have to get in. Right, I'll make another deal with you. If Percy wins the Gold Cup, you have to get Make Good Silks tattooed on you.
Not getting a tattoo on me at all. I'm not getting a tattoo, and I'm not getting my head shaved.
What's wrong? Why won't you get a tattoo?
Because I look like you then, bold with tattoos.
What's wrong with that? That's harsh.
No offense, Dave, I don't want to look like you.
Fucking hell, Tom. I can't hurt me know that this.
See the women throwing themselves at him. Oh,
that was mean, though. All the reasons you could have picked. You didn't have to pick me.
So Andrew, thing to go at, really.
So Andrew,
using a bold. There's going to be 2 of us on there.
This has suddenly turned into Andrew's audition to replace you.
That's happened more than once, I'd say, as well.
No, not really. Right, back to the racing. We may as well touch on the one that who I think was the worst statement the last 10 years I've ever came out and I've ever heard in telly. Yeah, forget the last 10 years I've ever heard in telly. When Frodon won this handicap chase, who was it said it? Luke Harvey?
Yeah.
Luke Harvey came out and said that was a better weight carrying performance than Denman in the Hennessy. Somebody please get on ITV and get him off the telly.
There's a reason I don't watch ITV, and that sounds about it.
How in the name of God can anyone even contemplate putting Denman and Frodon in the same sentence? He beat West Approach who could come in the Gold Cup swinging around on the bridle, coming around that corner. He could come in the cellar, swinging around that corner on the bridle and find nothing. He beat a field of yaks. Denman beat What a Friend, Barbershop, bloody Niche Market, and so on. No. And even give him a chance in the Gold Cup, he has no hope in the Gold Cup. Don't care what anyone says, he's no hope in the Gold Cup. He'd be lucky to make down the starting time. That's my thoughts on Frodan. And that has, before anyone says that, has not a single thing to do with Bryony Frost. It's the heart. You might have something to say about Bryony Frost. I won't.
I don't know. I backed Frodan on Saturday because I thought he'd get a soft lead. And look, Bryony is what she is. Anybody wants to watch the podcast. And I got slated a lot now on Twitter over the weekend for saying it. But she's
if you're slated on Twitter, you don't even have to.
Tom sends me all the fucking.
Oh, I send them on to him. Yeah, anytime you get slated, I screenshot and send them straight to him.
She's a point and shoot merchant. She can only ride on a front runner, and Frodan suits her perfectly. He jumps well, he gallops. But I tell you, Luke Harvey was nearly crying and everything. He had tears in his eyes talking about Frodan. Give it a break now.
What's your thoughts on Andrew?
I think it's gone up in everyone's estimations because so few horses actually go around carrying weight now. Like you get Nicky Henderson wouldn't allow a horse of his run around with 20 pounds more than anything else. So I think that's the only reason it's being talked up. Yeah, like he's a grand horse, but like he's absolutely stuffed in the Ryanair last year, and he'd be lapped in a Gold Cup. The only thing he'd do in a Gold Cup was make sure that they don't piss around at the start like they did last year.
Yeah.
See,
Kevin Blake was saying it this week as well that like how many of those good Grade 1 horses would win handicaps carrying top weight because they're so inferior to the horses they're running against. You know, even if they're carrying a stone or more against them, they'll still beat them.
Still open, but the races aren't there. There's too many Grade 1s in that and Grade 2s from to run and to even think why the hell should I. The one that they'll only run in is the Hennessy. It's the only one they'll ever contemplate running it, or the Grand National. Why would you do that and you have easier races against practically 3 or 4 horses going to turn up against you instead of 16, 17? Like,
yeah, I think it'd be interesting though. I think a lot more would win. Like Frodan's gone and shown that, like off a mark of what, 164 or something. Like,
yeah, 164.
Really.
If you think Frodan can do that to them, what would bloody Alban Pro, Santini, Delta work all? What would they do to them? They'd probably lap the lot of them.
They're just in a different league to them altogether. It doesn't matter how many. Well, it doesn't matter how much weight, obviously, but you know,
when you're better than it doesn't really.
Look what Denman did in the Hennessy, you know.
Yeah.
And he was beating proper graded horses. They're not bloody handicappers.
Yeah.
Right, wrap up on Frodan. Do we give Frodan a chance to Gold Cup?
No.
One answer. Dave?
No.
Tom?
No.
Andrew?
Nope.
That's resounding no. Stay on the same day. One actually caught my eye in the novice chase at 2 mile 4 was Selfie Stone. Paul Nixon's great. You love this fella.
Don't like him at all.
Oh, what a jumper.
I don't like him.
Okay, that's fair enough. Tom, do you see it? What do you think? Anything?
Yeah, I thought it was okay.
There'd be 25 horses better.
I know, but I'm just saying I like the way he jumped. All right. Andrew, what do you think? Jesus Christ, I'm getting away from this quickly.
Yeah, he was grand, but like the other that pillion or pylon or whatever, he can't jump for shite. Not that Fise doesn't find a twig off the bridle, and it was like cool Cody in second. He's brutal as well. So the form won't turn out to be anything. So
what you make a pylon?
Oh, sure. He didn't jump the first fence. That was the end of that.
I think
game over.
Was it the second fence where he gave himself an absolute heart attack?
No, he can't buy. Philip Hobbs cannot get a winner in England, and he had a horseman in France today.
Did he?
That is an insanity. A horse owned by David Maxwell won in France for him today.
You know, we were entered in that race. I wish we'd have run in it now.
Yeah, probably would have won.
Yeah, probably would have won, Tom.
Yeah.
Oh, Tom would no. Tom owns a leg of or two. How many legs you own? One of Zoffany Bay, who was trained over in England. Who was he trained by, Tom? Again,
he was trained by Samuel Addy Strong in England for a while.
And they bought him for. Am I allowed to say how much they bought him for?
Nope.
Okay. they got a bargain. Let's be said, they got a bargain, and they're like after
He done well yesterday.
He's bolted up twice now. He won a claimer first time out, and then unseated at the first on his second start, and then won a claimer again yesterday. So he gets a handicap mark now. So I think the plan is to go down to Po for their 2-month meeting down there.
Then after the county hurdle.
What's that?
Then after the county hurdle.
No. We'll see how he gets on down there. I think they're going to put him in some of the better handicaps down there. So there's just so much prize money, though. It's insane. He's won 2 races and he's won like 17.5 grand. It's mental. So.
Yeah, hopefully our one is as good as this now.
Yeah.
Mayor's hurdle, here we come.
Hopefully so.
Anyway, one that you put up, Tom, Botox Horse won. Did you like what you're seeing, and what do you make of All Mankind's reappearance and I'll get on to you about Goshen then.
Yeah, I thought All Mankind's reappearance was kind of almost what I expected. Some of those keen horses, you think they're fit at home because they fly up the gallops, but they're actually not fit. So I think he'll definitely come on for that run. Which like he's entitled to. Botox Haas, I thought was very good though, to be honest. And if the same stable didn't have Goshen, I think they'd be talking him up a lot more and thinking a lot more of him. I think it's just because they've got Goshen, you know, he's obviously behind Goshen in the pecking order. But yeah, there's plenty of nice races to be won with him.
What do you make?
It's hard to know. Like I said in the podcast, I would like seeing All Mankind win, but they we had Jamie on, and I think last year they said they were keeping Botox Haas for Aintree, and obviously it never happened with Corona, COVID situation. And they were pretty sure Goshen would win the Triumph and he'd win the Grade 1 at Aintree for the 4-year-olds. So, but they do think Goshen is a good bit better than him, so just have to wait and see what he does when he comes out, whenever he does.
Andrew, do you think the glass has gone off Goshen now since his 2 flat runs this season? Or do you still give?
No, like I wasn't maybe particularly keen on him in the first place, but I wouldn't be any way put off by him. And like I see an awful lot being made about like the Triumph form from last year, but like he's going to beat them all 15 lengths. So like it kind of does it. Like All Mankind's like a decent enough horse, but he's going to be beaten so far that it's not like they're in a bunch finish or anything. And I'd be taking it more on what Dave was saying there with this Botox Haas. I really rate this horse. And as Tom was saying, I think if Goshen wasn't there, they'd probably have a pop at the champion hurdle with him. I think he would have clearly come second in the Triumph if they'd ran him against Goshen. So maybe they just have 2 very good horses. But I wouldn't be off Goshen, to be honest. The flat runs just struck a not fit horse, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what we kind of think. Anyway, I'm the same as you. I think if they like Botox Horse and they're talking them up, but they think Goshen is like stones better. You got to see Goshen. He's running the leash next week. Next week.
At Wincanton, isn't it?
Yeah, next week or week after. We'll find out then. Right, we will head to Wexford on a Monday evening. A potential Gold Cup horse, Milena Indo. I was shocked that he actually won by that far because he is a horse that is notoriously hard to get fished. Tom, you put up as one of your ones to watch for the season. Were you happy with what you saw?
Yeah, very much so. We were talking about the betting on the race the night before, and Milan Native is 2-1, and I said I thought that was probably a bit big for him. I didn't expect Milena Indo to go out and do that at all. Like he absolutely destroyed them, but he jumped so well, travelled so well, and I was saying on the show last week when we were putting them up for the jump season preview, and I was saying he needs to grow up a little bit. You know, the first time he went to Cheltenham, he was really keen. And then the next time last year, he's running around like an Egypt coming up the straight after the last. And I think he's done that though. He went out there. And
he done it at Navan, wasn't it, against Captain CJ as well? He didn't do anything when he hit the front.
Yeah, no, but this time he was in front from a long way out and just jumped straight and just galloped all the way to the line. So, you know, he hasn't had that many runs in his life, so he's entitled to grow up a little bit. So I think he's done that, and he's a serious Gold Cup contender for me.
Were you impressed with what you saw, Andrew?
Yeah, very much so. Like obviously this time last year he got stuffed by Lorena in a beginner's chase. And like pretty much even watching the racing TV coverage, Kevin O'Ryan was saying that he looked big in the parade ring. You know, a lot of people actually were willing to take him on, and like they rode Milan Native to go and beat him, and he just couldn't live with them. I'd be very impressed with that. Hopefully we might see him in a Lexus or something like that, so we can really see what he's up against, you know, in terms of like against Delta Work and stuff like that. But he looks a cracking prospect, to be honest. And you know, that form of the RSA, I think it's hard to quantify. You can either take a view that it's a very good race and that all three of them are very good, or you know, the three of them aren't great. I'd take the impression that the three of them are pretty smart horses, and he'd have a very good chance in a Gold Cup if he continues to progress.
You're not so convinced, are you?
I don't like him regardless, but I was impressed at the fact that he's fit enough this year to win first time out. But I do agree. I think Tom is right. He needs to run a few more times than he has run the last 2 seasons. And I think if he couldn't beat Champ last year and Champ didn't jump a fence, then he has no hope in a Gold Cup. He'd have to improve about 16, 17 pounds.
If you go back and watch it though, himself and Alaho took each other on from about 3 out.
I couldn't care less. He still didn't beat Champ.
You can look at the two of them thought Champ was gone and they went for it. But then, as Tom and I said, the second Champ got next to Milan Lindo, up came the ears and off he went after him. He wasn't doing a tap when he hit the front.
You know, it wouldn't surprise me if his best run of the year is at Cheltenham. If he goes to Lexus, doesn't win it, so on and so forth, and Henry Ron have primed for the Gold Cup, and he might run his best right there, but I don't think he'll win a Gold Cup.
Not that he probably will or won't, but if it was my money, I genuinely, not even to get an argument, I'd back Mela Indo before I'd back Jam every day of the week. How can you back something with confidence that jumps like a pig?
I think he's brilliant.
He's an absolute.
I'll never forget the day going through the fence and he somersaulted the fence doing the dipper and at New Year's Day or whatever.
Like he nearly ended Barry Garrity's career by putting him through.
I reckon Garrity retired because you don't want to ride him anymore.
There's one broken leg too many. Like he's an absolute fluke. He's going to kill himself.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
No matter how much schooling they do, Henrietta Knight or Harry Potter does, he's not going to. I'd be shocked if he gets around the Gold Cup.
He needs serious schooling.
Right. Thought about another JP horse that ran at Wexford. Andy Dufresne, one of the horses who I got a lot of stick for last year. I was very happy to see what he done this year on Monday. I think there could be 1 or 2 big races in this lad this year.
He was the typical Andrew Halligan hype horse last year.
Hey, the hype not dead.
When
I go through my hype horse and see what album photo.
I reckon he'll be a lot better over fences than I thought. With the racing expert, he looked very good.
Tom, you impressed, or is he just another one of my hype horses?
Yeah, the jury's still out on that lad for me. He disappointed me the day behind Latest Exhibition. Now, Latest Exhibition has gone on to be very good as well, but yeah, he just disappointed me a little bit last year. And you know, they were never going to go to Cheltenham with him at all was the plan. So yeah, I don't know. He's clearly not a bad horse, but I'm not going to get excited about him just yet.
Does he get you excited, Andrew?
Yeah, like I like the horse. I just don't see where he really fits in. You know, with MVLN and stuff. Like, is he a type of horse that maybe runs in the 2-4 race at Aintree or something? I don't know, but I thought he did it very well. I think the second horse actually is a horse to probably look at in big 2 mile handicaps this year. Exit Pole. I'm kind of hoping he might go down the Grand Annual route. Jesse obviously won that with Rock the World, but I think he's a very good horse. It's just hard to know. Like, he obviously has good horses in every division, seemingly, Gordon. So where he goes, does he just have to bite the bullet and run him against Envoylen in a Drinmore or something? I don't know, but he couldn't have done it any better at Wexford, though. He jumped very well for his first time out.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he does this season for sure. And we finish on one today, latest exhibition, the second in last year's Alba Bartlett, who made a winning chase debut around Punchestown today. Andrew, it's no secret you like Paul Nolan. Your Paul Nolan is my Henry de Bromhead.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so.
Did you like what you seen today?
I think it was good. Yeah. Brian Cooper asked him for an almighty leap at the second, and he almost didn't get there, which was a bit concerning. But his jumping actually warmed to the task going round. I think for the time of year, it was a pretty hot beginners at that. He's not the type of horse that's ever going to win on the bridle. He's like a proper old-fashioned 3-mile slogger, I reckon. But yeah, no, couldn't have been more happy with him. Hopefully we'll go on. I think they were saying the Florida Pearl might be the next plan, and then I'd say he'd run in the Neville's Hotel at Leopardstown over Christmas as well. But he'll be kept to 3-mile route, I suspect, because he'd be outpaced over 2.5, and I can't wait to see how he gets on.
Yeah, it's a exciting crop of staying novice chasers this season. He's gonna hold high rank anyway for me. Himself, Monkfish. Who's the one you said last week, Tom? Cobbler's Way. Yeah, it's a good crop we're looking forward to. Lads, we're 26 minutes in, and we haven't even talked about the weekend's race. Your dinner's definitely booked.
I'll turn up in 5 minutes.
I've got 90 Day Fiancé to watch after this as well. It's Wednesday.
Wow.
Do you ever watch that, lads?
It's Wednesday daytime.
So do you want to go off and get your dress and go on, get the corner?
Absolutely. What you've been drinking the last 3 Wednesdays now. That's why. That is exactly why. I love this.
Yes, darling.
God.
Yes, darling. This is awesome. There's so many ideas we can get for a wedding. Oh my god!
It's fantastic, really. It's the most comforting TV ever. It's like watching the Jeremy Kyle show, basically. If you ever want to feel good about yourself, stick that on for a few hours.
What has happened to Tom?
Oh wow!
Are we disturbing you now, Tom? Do you want to go now? It's okay.
No, you're fine. Got another hour, so.
Wow.
Do you answer Skypes when you're watching?
I was wondering when we text him on a Wednesday night after about 9 o'clock.
He's gone.
There's nothing back.
I was waiting for you to ask me about latest exhibition. I haven't seen it. I was working, and I haven't seen the replay yet. So
I love him.
He was catching up.
I love him. Like Andrew said, he's just an old-fashioned 3-mile chaser. He's just tough. He never going to win on the bridle. Like the likes of Vautour or Duhan, he's just going to do everything hard.
He looked like he had fun today. He was jumping out to his left, jumping out to his right. Oh, let's have a long one. Oh shit, no. Yeah, we're grand. Keep going.
That was great. I loved it.
He's good crack. Right. On to matters on the weekend. Unbelievable weekend of racing. We've racing a big meeting at Downroyal. We've Weatherby and we have Ascot. Obviously, we're not going to go through every single race. We are going to start off though at Friday at Downroyal, the Grade 3 Mayor's Novice Hurdle. We have Tom's Mayor's Hurdle Horst Queensbrook, who's surely going to win this. She's up against one or two decent horses. The Getaway Star, who's decent enough in bumpers, and Henry de Bromhead's Brave Way, who's unbeaten so far, 101 over hurdles. Tom, take it away. Queensbrook to win or lose?
Yeah, I think she should win this. You know, she should be a good bit better than some of these already. Brave Way is obviously interesting. But yeah, like she should be a good bit better than the rest of them. The 2 mile trip is obviously a bit of a concern. She shaped the last day like she wants further, which I think she is going to want further in time. Davey said she blew up twice apparently the last day, so she's going to come on for it fitness wise. She jumped very well though on her first start, which I was very happy with. That was the main thing for me. So yeah, I think she'll win. Looking forward to her.
Going forward, just a quick look forward to Cheltenham. Would it worry you that she does need further, that the Mares is over 2 mile 1?
Yeah, well, you've teed me up. You've teed me off really, Derry. You've teed me off.
Hey, he's gone.
You've tucked me up very nicely here. So,
Gone.
I had it in my head, lads, that the Mares novice hurdle was 2 mile, 2.5 mile, or 2 mile 5. It's not.
False, fake news, Tom. Fake news.
Yeah. So I paused that up. So I'm now pretty worried because I don't think she's a 2 miler. So
hold up now. I have this back in it, this back in it, this back in it. Who do I have left the back in it? Jesus, Tom.
No, I'm gonna do what I did with Zoe and cash out my bet, I think.
Bandwagon, Tom.
All it took was a man on Twitter.
Yeah. Thanks to that man on Twitter.
Please follow me. You're now my friend. Andrew, your thoughts on it?
Yeah, look, Queensbrook should win. I wouldn't put any. Well, I think she'll just be a very short price, to be honest. I was quite glad to see that 8 were declared in this race, and I'd be very interested to see what price I could get each way on Politesse for Lorna Fowler. I think she's actually a very good mare. Was third to Longhouse Poet and Monkfish in a Punchestown bumper, second in a graded bumper, and beat a decent enough Gordon Elliott horse in her maiden hurdle. So I think Lorna Fowler seems to have a decent enough bunch of young horses. If this horse was maybe 8-1 or something, I'm not sure what price you might be able to get, but I couldn't see her out of the front 3. I think that the Bromhead horse has obviously plenty of potential, but the actual win last time out against Champagne Diva isn't up to much. So Queensbrook, the most likely winner, but Politesse, I think, would be one I'd be very interested in each way if I could get some sort of price.
You think Queensbrook will win?
No, I think Politesse will win and first Queensbrook's bubble.
Two for you. Just go add on. Before, I'm the same. I'm not going to add on to it. I think she's going to be the best odds race.
Her form is very good. I think you'll get a decent price. She's a big, strong mare or filly. I think, and she's been better since she went over hurdles. I think she'll be a great bet on Friday.
Yeah, I agree with Andrew and Dave. I think she's made to jump. Her back form is very good. And the way with Queensbrook is, as Tom said, I think she probably needs further. They probably will make most use out of her on Friday, but I think Politicize has a great chance to win. I can't have Henry's Half Braveway. As Andrew said, that form is up to nothing. You're beating Champagne Diva around Kilbeggan, for God's sake. Like, it's, and I wasn't even done that impressively. She's very green. She needs to come on lowest for it. The Getaway Star is one that who might turn up as well. She was decent enough in bumpers. She won her first 2, then was beat by out of sight by Big Bad and Beautiful and Plan of Attack. But thing is, she went off 7-2 and 5-2, so they must think a lot more of her. There must be something up with her then. But I'm with the 2 lads. I think she's going to be a great bet. There's no price yet, so depending on the price, it's probably I just presume that Queensbrook was going to be odds on, and she'd be up around what 5-6 to 1-ish. But it's an each way bloody bet to not. Yeah. So moving on to the Grade 2 WKD hurdle, where we have last year's Supreme Novice second, Abracadabras, the second in the what's it called? Triumph hurdle in Aspire Tower, and we have Jason the Middleton 6 shooter, and so on. And Tom, no, Dave, go Dave. Abracadabras.
I'm always waiting for him to run out again. I really am. Like, I just think he's going to do it the second time. every time he runs, I'm like, he's on the bridle and he's going to go somewhere else again. He's going towards the stables or towards the stands. Obviously, no, probably not. There's no crowd, but I don't know. I don't know what to make of. I think he should have won the Supreme, and then he got out battled. I don't know how Stishkin won that race, to be honest. I watched it back yesterday.
I'm still due.
It's not a race that I'd have a bet in, and I'd be interested in just watching where Aspire Tower comes and runs, and how Abracadabra runs as well. I'd say Abracadabra is the most likely winner, but it wouldn't surprise me if he ran out.
Andrew.
Yeah, I'd be similar enough. I think he probably will win, and if for the champion hurdle picture, you'd want him to win, but I couldn't be backing him at odds on that he's probably going to be, because he has a few notions about the game. One, I don't know how I'm going to see. I don't know whether such thing will exist on the day, but if I was to see a match bet, I would back Jason the Militant to beat Aspire Tower. I think the Triumph the Irish juveniles last year were absolutely dog. I can't have any of them. I know Aspire Tower is probably the best of them, but I think they're brutal. I think Jason the Milton's actually quite good. He beat Beacon Edge last year. Beacon Edge has turned into a good horse this year for no mead. Your man Peter Michael, who owns him, got onto me on Twitter actually the other day and said that this horse stays hurdling. So it's be interesting to see how he goes. He'll probably go out from the front. He might run a few of these to the ground, to be honest. He has a bit of fitness on board. He won a flat maiden there a few weeks ago, so I think he could run well and maybe beat Aspire Tower, but it'll be a big step to probably down Abracadabras, to be fair.
Tom?
Yeah, I think Abracadabras is the most likely winner by a long way here. He was very good in his second in the Supreme. I think both him and Shishkin, didn't get the best run through, and Abracadabras was left at the start. So I'm very keen on him. I agree with Andrew that I don't think these juveniles are up to much, especially the Irish ones. Jason the Militant is interesting. If you take the form of his Grade 2 win literally, then he's got a very good chance. He's fit from a run on the flat, and yeah, if there's one who's going to put it up to him, and it's going to come as a surprise, I think, to most, I think it'd be him. So yeah, look, he could do, but Abracadabras is definitely my selection. But Jason the Militant to chase him home.
Yeah, I'm not too far off with everyone as well. Like Abracadabras, he's won every start by bar being second to Shishkin in the Supreme, second to Envoy Allen in the Royal Bond. He's by far the classic horse in the race. He's given weight around, but do you take a chance 4 to 6 that he's going to just pop around and win? Yeah, probably. He's probably one of the ones you probably would roll in on. But as the last said, Jason the Militant, he's race fish. He hosed up in a flat maiden 3.5 lengths east down. It won't be the biggest shock in the world if he ran close. He's 5 to 1, 6 to 1 in place. I can't see him beating him, but I can see him going close out of everyone else in it. You go Aspire Tower, I'm convinced this yoke in these 3 miles. I'm absolutely convinced in these 3 miles. 2 miles, I don't think it's a trip at all. I think step it up and trip, you're going to see what he's made of. 6 shooter, for God love him, he can't jump. He's awful at jumping. How he won the last day is just pure ability. He won it the last day, but he's in deeper water today. But to round up, like, Abracadabra is one of the odds-on favourites of the weekend that I don't think will be beat. But if I look at Jason Militant to follow him home, I think that's the forecast. Abracadabra and Jason the Militant second.
Andrew, just to say there, that form I was on about, I just had a look there of that Grade 2 novice hurdler win. He beat Beacon Edge, who's come out and won twice this season, into second. Andy Dufresne into third, Mount Leinster into fourth, and Packen's Rock into fifth, with Tiger Tap back in sixth. Like, he was an outsider that day. But if you take that as a literal his form and that's how good he is, then he's got a good chance.
Mm-hmm. He'd want a bit of rain though, because he was brutal in Leopardstown at the Dublin Racing Festival on good ground, and they said that good ground really wasn't his bag at all. So if there's a bit of rain, turns up soft, I think he's got a decent chance of giving the favourite a bit of a fright.
There's a good bit of rain on the way. It's coming kind of Thursday night into Friday morning. Whether it comes in time up the north, but Saturday's a washout up there. It would be better if he was running on Saturday. But I think we're all in agreement that Jason in the middle is the kind of, if there was anyone, he's going to cause the shock. But on ratings,
do the forecast.
On ratings, on everything we see visually, Abracadabra is the one that wins. Right, on to the beginner's chase. The best horse in training. The Machine, 2.0. Envoy Allen makes his chase debut. The Marsh chase winner. Lads, is he just going to pop around and show how good he is, or are we going to see like something like, oh my God, he can't jump a fence? Surely it's going to be a taken performance. Andrew, do you like him?
Yeah, the vibes are that he jumps well. He obviously won a point to point. I'd really hope to see him jump well. I don't think he's actually he doesn't strike me as the type of horse that actually might win by like 10, 15 lengths. It wouldn't surprise me if he just pops round, wins by 5 lengths or 4 lengths or something. He did that in a maiden hurdle there last year. He doesn't do anything too flashy, and just a bit like a few of the others that we were discussing earlier, you just want a clear round, and he's the class horse. He should win easy, to be fair, but he'll be 5's on, I assume, or something like that. So
7's on, he is.
7's on. Like you can't. A blogger might have a bet on that, but I won't be.
Like, just for everyone, we're not talking about this as a betting spectacle at all. We're just talking about the horse himself. Before you putting up 1 7 shot far. We're talking about Envoy going forward. God, everyone the same view, by the way. Tom, you're going to say something. Go on.
Yeah, no, I am. My only thing is, and I've only just noticed it, he's got a tongue tie on first time.
Mr. Pessimist, shock.
Why has he got a tongue tie on first time?
Maybe he's had to put on a bit of weight over the summer and needs a bit of help breathing.
Stop being pessimistic about that. I tried to
would that not concern you that he's
I tried to get bet last year. He's not going to get bet. There's no pessimism.
He definitely won't.
Come here, I tell you, he can wear a tongue tie, drive a quad, and have coaches, and he'll still jump the fences and win. So it don't make a difference.
No, right. He'll win that race easily, right? But just going forward, it just worries me that he's putting a tongue tie on him and he hasn't.
What worries you about a tongue tie? What is the big deal?
Well, it suggests that he's got a breathing problem.
Yeah.
How many good horses do you know with breathing problems? How many grade 1 horses do you know that wear tongue ties?
Okay, I'd put it back to you. I'd put it back to you this way. If he had a breathing problem and he was winning last year with a breathing problem, how good is he going to be if he can breathe?
Well, no, he hasn't had a wind up, and you can develop a wind problem. So it's not to say he had it last year, but
Tom, you were really excited.
We were excited about seeing the best horse in training. I knew you wanted to put him down as like he can't breathe, and he might.
No, look, this is just Tom all over. Tom was excited about Zoffany Bay until who ran yesterday, which was Tuesday. Who all the way up until Sunday, he was excited about Zoffany Bay. He was calling him the Zoff. I can't wait till the Zoff wins on Tuesday. And then Monday he's like, "Oh, I really wish I didn't own this horse." So don't worry about
that. Exact words. Oh, I'd rather be an outsider and hope that he's going to run well instead of being the favourite and expecting to run well. Why?
The pressure is on when they're favourite.
No pressure. You're not riding the bloody horse. You just sit back and watch.
There was no pressure. The thing won by a mile.
No, lads, that just put a bit of concern in my mind going forward that he's wearing a tongue tie.
All he has to do is jump.
It's not a positive, put it that way.
It's not a negative either.
It is a negative. He's wearing a tongue tie.
So, that's like me wearing bloody blades and then wearing cogs and on hard ground.
You wear them strips across your nose.
No, I didn't.
Should have to breathe.
I actually can't breathe out with nostril.
That's like you, Andrew, wearing your knees strapped up playing football. You're not doing it for the crack, are you?
No, I'm not a pussy like you and needs to wear it.
Ooh. Wait, that's not on Twitter.
You don't see any K-tape holding me together. Dave holding me up when I'm walking out of the gym.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, it's not a positive, guys.
It's not a bad thing either, though. You're genuinely talking like he's not having an injury or something.
I just want to say, Tom, you are going to get slated in the comments over this.
I know, but like,
I'm glad
you got a tongue tie on first time.
But you're going to get crucified.
Why? Like, why has he got a tongue tie on?
Maybe he likes it.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe come get the phone in the morning.
Yeah.
Suddenly becomes in what, Alan?
Yeah, he puts the tongue tie on. He's like a
He's like French. He does it the French. I'm the French. He is.
No, the best thing that'll happen now is he'll beat all these because he's way superior to them, and then I'll get slated that see, Tom, he tongue tie was no problem. He beat them, and that's not what I'm saying. I 100% think he'll win at the weekend. I'm just worried going forward that he's wearing a tongue tie.
Again, why?
Because, as I said, it suggests he has a breathing problem.
Let's go on. It's going to be more fun.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Oh, Jesus. On to Saturday, and the first grade 1 of the season. Yeah. The Ladbrokes Champion Chase over 3 mile, where we have last year's Irish Gold Cup winner, Del to Work. We have Storyteller, who's in good form. Chris Stream, who's a decent horse on soft ground. And that joke, that everyone is still on the hype train since the 14th of March 2018. Presenting Percy makes his debut for Gordon Elliott, who apparently is going to improve him like 3 stone and win the Gold Cup by half the track doing backflips.
Well, he only needs to improve about 3 lengths to win a grade 1. So,
Tom, he hasn't won a chase since March of 2018, and the 5 chases he ran in since he was 8th, 3rd, 5th, 3rd, and 5th. How in the name of God are you still holding on to this joke?
Because he was running on in the Gold Cup, would have been about 4th or 5th, I think. When trained by Pat Kelly, the race before that, he was 3rd in the Paddy Power Irish Gold Cup, beaten 4 3/4 lengths. The race before that, he was 3rd in the Sabbath Chase, beaten 4 lengths.
Yeah.
And the race before that, it was his seasonal debut in the John Durkin, I think it was, and he was beaten 3 1/4 lengths.
Yeah.
He wasn't getting tailed off in any of those races. So,
but you know what all these have in common?
He got beaten.
Beaten every time. He hasn't won a chase since 2018.
But he hasn't, like, he's had, what, 5 runs over fences in that time. And he hasn't, and...
Now, yes, he was in grade 1s. He has never looked like he was going to win any of them.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he looked like he was going to win at Leopardstown the last day.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, I thought he looked like he was going to win that day.
Tom, I thought coming into the straight, the presenting person was going to win the Irish Gold Cup, and he threw it away.
He did.
So, like, well, what's your defence for that then?
Yeah,
he had an Irish Gold Cup being given to him on a plate. Ken Boy jumping out to his right, Delta Work flat to the boards, and he threw it away. Couldn't even beat Ken Boy, who came last in the Gold Cup.
The case for this horse this year, I'd given up on this horse for this year, Andrew. The only case is he's moved to Gordon Elliott. That's literally all the case is, and hopefully that brings around a bit of improvement and revival. If it does, he'll go very close in a grade 1. If it doesn't, then yeah, he won't. So,
what chance did you give him on Saturday? So,
what chance did I give him on Saturday? I actually thought he'd win on Saturday. I think him and Delta Work for me are miles ahead. I think they're better horses than Chris's Dream is, and they're better horses than the Storyteller is. I thought it was definitely between the two of them. And again, there wasn't a lot between them last year. Delta Work was better than him, definitely, but only by a few lengths. So if Gordon can get a bit of improvement out Presenting Percy, then he has a very good chance of beating him.
Andrew, your thoughts?
Yeah, I do. Like, I think Delta Work is by far the best horse in the race, but I think there's enough to take him on at his prices. He's been poor enough at Down Royal before on seasonal reappearance. He was obviously really bad in this race last year. He scrambled in against Ben Dundee in a beginner's chase the year before. I don't think he'll be tuned up at all, and he'd be the type of horse I'd back in the Lexus before I'd be backing him on Saturday. And it's always won by a horse that eventually actually doesn't turn into a Gold Cup horse, seemingly. It's the Road to Respects of the world, you know. And as much as I actually don't like the horse that much, I thought the Storyteller was the bet in this race at around 6 to 1.
Well, screw you, good point.
I apologize for that, but I just think he's in good form. He has race fitness on his side. It's the time of year that this horse will win a Grade 1, if he will win one in open company. He's not a Gold Cup horse for down the line, but as I say, this race is prone to shocks and prone to maybe horses not quite up to it winning it. So he'd be the horse I'd go with. I think he's the best price. I think Delta Works well opposable at his prices, and Presenting Percy, it's just excuse after excuse, seemingly. And, well, I've no issue with people thinking that Gordon Elliott might be able to improve Presenting Percy, but apparently some people are taking it on the fact that he improved your one Presenting Dylan, who was like rated 80. Like, I think I could have won a handicap hurdle training him. So, like, I don't understand why we're basing it on that. And he's just a horse I don't like at all. So the Storyteller for me, but it wouldn't be a race I'd be mad on, to be fair.
Dave?
It goes on circumstance with the start of the season. I would not back Presenting Percy with counterfeit money. He doesn't know how to win a race anymore. You have to take Delta Work on. He was abysmal this time last year, and his season will be geared towards winning a Gold Cup. It depends on the ground, and if they get that rain and the showers, I think Chris's Dream has a great chance. He won the Troytown last year in his first race of the season, a big handicap, and he basically won it on a bridle. And he won first time out the year before as well, but the ground has to be soft. There can't be any good in the description. It has to be soft or heavy. If it's good in the description, he has no hope.
There's a lot of rain on the way.
If it goes soft, I'd fancy him. Because of the nature of the race and just it gives odd results, and just Delta Work is the best horse in the race, but he won't be tuned up.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think, as I said, Delta Work last year, he was absolutely shocking. He didn't lift his front legs at all, jumping around down Ryle, and it wasn't the first time he done it. As Dave said, I think he's going to be geared up for the Grade 1s over here, and then obviously Cheltenham. Presenting Percy, I wouldn't. As Dave said, wouldn't back him counterfeit. I wouldn't back him with Monopoly money. Chris's Dream, I don't know. He runs his best races when he's fresh. He needs a break in between. I'd be willing to a 3 to 1. I wouldn't go near him at that. But I agree with Andrew. I think the Storyteller is overpriced at 13 to 2. He won last time out at Punchestown, beating 2-8 Pormy by 7.5 lengths. Before that, he was second in the PWC Champion Chase at Gorham Park, beaten by easy game. But he that was one of his bad performances. He was nearly tailed off halfway around, and he ran out well at the end. He was on a good winning run up to that. I think 30 to 2, 7 to 1. He's a great each way bet. I can't see him being out of the top 3 at all. He's the race fitness. He's in good form. Keith Donoghue, I'll presume, will be on him. He gets on really well with him. He's the bet for me at about 13 to 2, 7 to 1. Storyteller each way. That's me. Tom, I presume you're going Percy?
I just want to say as well, before some smart bastard points this out to me, right? Because I can see this coming. Yes, I am aware presenting Percy wears a tongue tie. So
Percy, Tom, it's a bit of a negative now, Tom, isn't it?
Before that gets pointed out, I am well aware. Okay,
that was put off a bit then, would it?
I'm ignoring you now. Right?
I'm too sorry you said Envoylan's wearing a tongue tie.
Jeez, I'd hope to God Envoylan doesn't turn out to be presenting Percy, that's for sure.
Or Sam Crow, or the long list of horses that have looked the second coming and haven't turned out to be. But let's not tell Andrew that because he'll go cracked.
Yeah, I never liked Sam Crow.
Anyway, yeah, look, I'll go for presenting Percy. He's gone well fresh before, and yeah, look, it's all clinging on the trainer switch, but it's a huge trainer switch. So, yeah, fingers crossed.
I'm glad you said Percy though, because you didn't know I genuinely would have walked off. I would have lost all respect for you. I'm glad you're speaking to your guns. Well on, Tom.
Andrew, they are dying now for next week's show. They cannot wait for it already. And the first thing is going to be, Percy was useless.
See, look, you was going to be useless.
He'll come second beating a short head behind the storyteller. And they'll say, we've dealt with 5 lengths back in third. And they'll say, he was beat.
Sure, if you can't beat the storyteller, you're not winning the Gold Cup.
Oh, there we go. See?
I'll go preview into next week's show. Right, on to the 3 o'clock and the Grade 2 Chase over 2 mile 3.5 furlong. This, if they all turn up, this looks to be an unbelievable race. We've Battle Over Diane, Notebook, Sam Crow, Easy Game, 0-10, Sizen, Potsy, and Yaha Fizz. Andrew, take it away. Who do you like in this?
Well, it's interesting because it came up there a minute ago. I absolutely love Sam Crow. I think he is a proper horse. And I tell you what, last year people want to crab him. And yet, if he'd stood up at Fairy House, he would have won 3 from 4, 2 Grade 1s in the bag, and got outstayed by 14 at a bog in Limerick, which is no disgrace in that. I've no reason why people just, like, because he was hyped up so much that obviously he was going to be a disappointment. But I thought last year he was pretty good. He jumped pretty well. He was traveling all over Fakir Dudery, and I can't. People make this thing that he got beat by 14, which means he wouldn't have beaten Fakir Dudery, which just doesn't make any sense. Because if you look at the 2 races back, he was traveling a lot more like he did in Cheltenham at Fairy House. As for Limerick, Jack Kennedy was constantly at him turning in. And I think if he returns here, he'll win. He won at the race last year. I quite like one that may go off a bit of a price, 0-10, but he needs to scrub up his jumping a lot. He's a horse I've always liked, but his jumping last year was abysmal, really. He got through a few races on class, but I think Sam Crow is actually the best of these, and I'm really hoping he makes a winning reappearance.
Tom, what do you think? Do you think Sam Crow's on that special feed again that we all suspect he was on?
Well, the best bit of this race for me is going to come in approximately 2 minutes' time when we get to see who Dave tips, because Dave hates every single horse in this race. Like, he hates all of them. He hates every last one of these horses. He is literally going to tip Yaha Fizz just for the crack. Like, I mean, for me, I can't wait to see Notebook come back. He bombed out at Cheltenham, but apart from that, he was very, very good last year. He's another one who is built like a bit of a bullock.
He's a horse that needs a second gelding operation, and it's impossible.
So he's going to be hard to get fit. Yeah, look, I'll side with Sam Crow. hopefully the magic wind up that he got before his run at Cheltenham can work again. And yeah, like he's a horse I've always liked. He disappeared there for a season, but
are you ever going to expand on this magic wind up that you always threaten to expand on?
No, he had a magic wind up. He just, the way he stopped behind Faheen and then to come back and do that, I just don't know how that happens. But anyway,
it's the outdoor stable, Tom. It's the fresh air.
Yeah,
fresh air. You're staying last.
Dave, sorry, Dave. Just while you're thinking about this, can you go through every horse and why you hate them? Like,
yeah. I'm going to take a chance on Easy Game. Again, race fitness at this time of year. He's bolted up in the PWC Champion Chase at Gorham Park. Second to Faheen in Grade 1 last year. He's a very, very classy horse. I think race fitness, the back class, is getting a bit of weight off Sam Crow, Notebook, and Battle Over Slow On, or whatever you call him these days.
Battle Over Dog Shit.
Battle Over Dog Shit. I think he's a very classy horse. He's only a 6-year-old still. It's like he's been around a long time. I think there's still a good bit of improvement in him. He's my bet in the race. I don't know what price he is, but I will be having a bet on him. One who I'm also looking forward to, who Andrew mentioned, was 0-10. Very talented horse. Absolute chronicle jumper. He's like Champ. He just doesn't lift, just tries to run through him. But if he starts out as jumping, he could be a force to be reckoned with. But my bet in this is Easy Game.
I go down through the list that are entered, right? All over Dog Shit, right? This race is over 2 mile 3. He ended in the Paradivice in the Czech Republic, that 5 mile race. He's the slowest horse in training. I'm used to it.
Okay.
Notebook, he's a second gelding operation. Any horse that runs around like he did at Cheltenham, no chance. Don't back him.
Like this.
Waste of money. Sam Crow, we'll come back to him.
Oh, no.
Easy Game, don't like him. When he steps up to a certain level, he can't win. 0-10 jumps like a fridge, but I actually do like him. I think he's very classy. He will win a few races, but definitely needs to jump better. Slice and Patsy, he loves him for some reason and puts him up the whole time. I don't like him at all. Yeah, to be honest, I have no real feeling about Yahaf. That's the way I felt on Sam Crow.
And this is why we are the finish line, and this is why we will never change.
Well, if Yahaf is one, I'd be quite happy.
Are you going for the jug, Lord?
Yeah, I go for it, Sam Crow, yeah.
Okay. I have lost now. Recaps. Sam Crow, Easy Game. Andrew?
Sam Crow.
Tom?
Sam Crow.
Okay. I need a minute to recover after that. Right. We head over to England and over to Wetherby for the Bet365 Mares Hurdle over 2 miles. There's one in this you hate as well.
Yeah, I think she's the best bet in the race, though.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So
she's a Looney Tune, but I think for Dana Blue is gone. So I'd be back in Stormy Ireland. She's definitely better than the rest of them. It's between the top 2. So
just go on, keep going.
It's between the top 2. There's not a whole lot in the race.
So the top 2, if anyone here, is Fernanda Blue
and Stormy Ireland
at even money, and
I think putting Stormy Ireland back over hurdles makes sense. It didn't make sense putting her over fences, so leave her both along in front.
Yeah, I wasn't impressed with her jumping around Newton Abbott when she got beat. She's very skew-with, very awkward. She doesn't look like a chaser. She's going to mop up in these races all through the season, and I think she is an unbelievable bet at 5-2. As Dave said, I think Fernanda Blue is gone. She don't want it anymore. She's one of these mares that have fallen out of love of the game. She had all the conditions, everything for her to win. Was the last week or the week before at Kempton when she got beat 6.5 lengths by Silver Streak. I can't have her even money. I'd lay her on every day of the week. Stormy Ireland 5-2. I think she's the best if she turns up. Tom?
Yeah, I think that if she turns up is a big if with Stormy Island there. I'm just not convinced they'll give up on chasing straight away. So I would very much like to know if she was running. I don't know. I've just got a feeling she won't run. I don't think they'll give up on chasing that easily with her. So when you take her out of this, it's literally Verdana Blues to lose. In my book, anyway. She's below. She's the bottom of the weight. She has been beaten on her seasonal reappearance before and then bounced back. I'm just hoping she can do that. Would I back her 11-10? No. But I think she's the most likely winner.
Andrew?
Yeah, I suppose I was probably a bit with Tom there. I wasn't sure whether Stormy Ireland was going to run or not. Obviously, if she does run, I'd be with you guys. I think she's obviously the best bet in the race. Couldn't be having Verdana Blue at all. I think, though, it is an open race other than that, and you might be playing for a few places. And one I think might run okay is Mia Grace for Jed O'Keefe. It has your man Joe Colliver on board, who I wouldn't be a massive fan of myself. But
our man Joe Colliver, brilliant.
I'm sure we'll talk about Sam Spinner soon enough. But yeah, look, she might run a good race. She's currently 12-1. It's not a bad each way price, especially if you take Stormy Ireland out of the race. She'll come in significantly in odds there. And I couldn't, like, if Stormy Ireland comes out, Verdana Blue becomes a long odds on shot, and I couldn't be backing Verdana Blue with stolen money at odds on. She doesn't seem to want to win races anymore. So Mia Grace probably each way, but not a strong view on the race, to be fair.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. Right, that was one of the least interesting races of the weekend, but still, we move on to one that is actually a very good race on paper. We have the Bet365 hurdle over 3 miles, the Grade 2. We have last year's fourth in the Albert Bartlett Time Hill, the Stairs hurdle winner Liz Nagara Oscar. Next Destination, who's having his first run since the Punchestown Festival of 2018, where he was beating Delta Work in the Grade 1 hurdle over 3 miles. And we've Roxana, who is 5-1. God only knows how that yoke is 5-1. Our Little Lover, Indefatigable, 13-2, and Copperhead over hurdles. That's strange. Yeah, but anyway, this looks to be a very, very good race. Dave?
I waited all the season last year for Next Destination to come out. I thought he'd go over fences. I will, if I'm getting 5-1 on Saturday or 5 or 6-1 on him, I'll have a bet on him. I don't like Liz Nagar Oscar. I can't back Philip Hobbs' horse at the moment. I just don't know what's going on there. So I'll go for him. I don't know, leaving Willie Mullins is probably never a good thing, but it's not like he's gone to a bad trainer. He's gone to Paul Nichols, and there's obviously reasons behind it, but that form when he bet Delta Work is great hurdle form, so I take him.
Andrew?
Yeah, I'm not sure whether he's definitely going to run or not, but I'd be all over Time Hill in this race personally. Philip Hobbs had a winner at Taunton today, I think, and he had a winner over in France as well. So hopefully they may have turned a corner. And this horse is just a really good horse. I think the Albert Bartlett form is strong. I think the first 3 are very good. I think if this horse hadn't been hampered as badly as he did, it would almost have been 4 in a line. I think it was actually, I'm a big fan of Paul Townend, I'm a big fan of Willie Mullins, but it was a massive no for me that there wasn't a steward's inquiry with the Albert Bartlett on the track. To be fair, I think Monkfish caused an awful lot of interference, but that's my take on it. Time Hill, I think, would have been closer. He's my I've backed him anti-post for the Stairs hurdle. I think he's a cracking bet at 16-1 for the Stairs. And if he wins on Saturday and beats a few of these, he becomes an 8-1 or 10-1 shot pretty quickly. So I'd be backing him. I think he's 3-1 best price. I think if he runs, that's very fair, and hopefully he can go and do the business.
Yeah, I totally agree with Time Hill. I think Time Hill is the bet in this. Like last year, he's won fresh all the time. Last season he started off at 2 miles, 3.5 furlongs, 2.5, 2.4, and then we've seen him really take another big step forward in the Albert Bartlett, stepping up to 3 miles. he's getting 3 pounds off this Nagar Oscar, who I still have no idea how this thing won a stayers hurdle. And he has to give way to Next Destination as well. I love Next Destination, same as Dave, but I want to see him run first to see he's still there before I go anywhere near him. And Time Hill only ran back in March, being fourth. Unlucky kind of in running, but look, it is what it is. But yeah, 3-1, 5-2. I think he's the cracking bet for the weekend. I think he's head and shoulders above the rest of them. Roxanne, I couldn't give. She needs to start now. Indefatigable is decent. Copperhead is probably a tune up to the Ladbroke on Hennessy. Used to be called the Hennessy. So yeah, Time Hill I think is a cracking bet at 3-1 to beat all these. Tom, what do you make of it?
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with the two Andrews actually. Liz Nagar-Oscar's form as a novice is actually pretty good. So we probably shouldn't have been too surprised when he won, as Paisley Park ran below form. But I just think that Albert Bartlett last year was a really, really good race. I think the 4 of them are all grade 1 horses. I think they're all smart. And, you know, we're on about Philip Hobbs's form, but they've been running okay without winning, some of them. And his last few runners of last couple of days have been second, first, and third. So, you know, they're not all running like drains. So hopefully he's got this horse right and ready to go. I think he will have. I don't think he'd run him if he didn't think it was right. He won first time out last year quite snugly at Chepstow. And yeah, he's I couldn't believe his price. I thought it'd be a lot shorter.
Yeah, we can look into even the way Philip Hobbs' horse will run. I think we had the same query coming in today with Paul Nolan's horse, the latest exhibition. Their horses weren't running great till he had 1 or 2 run well at Wexford yesterday. And the same Philip Hobbs had a winner today. So I think my advice would be back him now if he definitely is running, because he's going to go off 6-4, 5-4 around that price. I think he's one of the best bets of the weekend, in my opinion. So I think he's Time Hill for me. Dave?
Next Destination.
Andrew?
Time Hill.
And Tom is Time Hill.
Time Hill as well, yeah.
So next we will go on to the Grade 2 Charlie Hall Chase, where apparently surname is going to turn up. We have Sam Spinner, Ballyoptic, last year's winner. Vindication, he's entered in the Selection Gold Cup as well. I don't know if he's run Blackheart and definitely Red. Storyteller won't run. Mr. Williger, Labagay was Slayhouse, Ace, so hope he's over his fall after the National. Keeper Sale, Mike Boy, and so on. Andrew, you were talking about Jed O'Keefe and Sam Spinner. Do you give him a good chance with Joe Colfer on his back?
I suppose he does have a chance. He's not a horse that I've ever really grown to be fair. I think he'd need to scrub up his jumping an awful lot to take a race like this as well. He won some decent races. He beat some good horses last year. He beat Beekstein, he beat Windsor Avenue. He beat some decent horses, but his jumping was fishy to say the least. It's hard to know. Some of them have double entries, surname, Vindication, who's going to run. I know one that will run, who'd be my selection, will be definitely Red. He's an old timer at this stage. He's 11 years old, but I think there's 8-1 out there. He won at Kelso at the end of last year. He still retains a bit of ability. He's won this race before. He's run well in the race before. And there's a lot of unknowns about a lot of the others at the top of the market. So I think he's probably a solid enough bet at 8-1, and probably take on some of these. I don't think some of them will run. I would be very shocked if both Surname and Vindication did run. So probably him at 8-1. Definitely Red at 8-1 is the bet for me.
I'll just pop in on Sam Spinner. I really like him. I think he's one of these. He's made for just staying chasing. He'd be the first one after bridle, and he'd be the last one stopping. But as Andrew alluded to, his jumping leaves a bit to be desired. But if he scrubs up, he's a great chance. He's not 72, 3-1. It's not really something I want to be going at around Wetherby. One who I fell on at a massive price is Bells Hill, now trained by Sandy Thompson. He's very, very good backlash. He's only back in February 2019 last year. He was winning the Irish Gold Cup, beating Road to Respect and the Storyteller. He was then second. His last run for Willie Mullins was second in the Bobby Joe Chase. And before that, in 2017, he was winning that Punchestown Gold Cup. Sandy Thompson horses, they've been running very well the last 2 weeks. He's had 5 places and 2 wins. He's 28, 33s in the place. I am definitely willing to take an each way shot on this. It's a wide open race. It's races where you see mad results. The class horses don't really run. And if Surname turns up, I wouldn't touch him with days fake money. I can't make heads or tails of him. He arrives at Ascot, he gets beat by bloody Twisted Davis's horse. What? Oh, I can't remember.
Right on the Storm.
Right on the Storm. Himself and Algio killed each other. He's a right-handed merchant around Ascot. I just can't have him. I don't like him. I think he's way, way too high in ratings. For what he's done, I can't have him as the highest rated horse in training whatsoever. So on that, I definitely taking a chance on Bells Hill at 28, 33-1. But it won't be a shock at all if Sam Spinner galloped this lot into the ground. You go,
I don't think Surname will run. I think he'll run an Ascot in the handicap. If he runs here, I can't make head or tails of it because he can't go left-handed anyway, so it makes no difference. I don't like Sam Spinner's jumping. And then you are looking through, and the one I fell on at a mad price was Iright. And Harriet Graham trains him. And only because his form with Nuts Well, who won the other day again. And he's had a run this season in October, so he's fit. They obviously think he's a good horse because he ran the RSA last year as well. He was miles behind, but he bet that he was behind Battle Over Diane and Champ and Allaho and all the rest of them. So I give him a shot. He's 33-1. He'll probably get bigger, I'd say.
Tom?
Now, I took the view on this that Surname would run. And he would run because he carries 11.6 in this, which is, there's others carrying 11.4, 11.3, and 11 stone. If he runs in the Sodexo Gold Cup, he's got 11.12, and the next to him is Vindication with 10.11. So he's got to give everything a stone and 1 pound or more. And when you go past the Vindication, it drops down rapidly. I know what I've said about running those good horses in handicaps, but for the first run of the season, I can't see that they're going to want to do that with him. But that being and then I just look at it. I never thought I'd be able to back Surname at 2-1 when the second in the market was Sam Spinner and Vindication. So I'm pretty revved on him, to be honest.
Is Weatherby the way around it? Don't want to run him. Weatherby left-handed.
Yeah, Weatherby's left-handed. Yeah, that is obviously the massive concern.
He can't go left-handed, Tom. Honestly. I took the view that he's not going to run. If he did run, I'd be interested, but he definitely can't go left-handed.
Yeah, I don't know. They've entered him here, so they obviously aren't too concerned about it. Now, if you go back to last season's form for a second, that Altior race nearly killed the two of them. The two trainers are massive rivals. They got wound up into a media frenzy of, we have to run the two of them against each other. We have to see which is best. He beat him. He then had a really tough race in the King George where he probably didn't get home over 3 miles. And it was off the back of an incredibly tough race from run against Altior. And then 51 days later, he falls when beaten behind Riders on the Storm. Now, I think for a few horses, they've said the coronavirus was the best thing that's ever happened. I think this is one of them. He hasn't run since February. And I really think that was the best thing that ever happened to him. He got a really good long break. It was interesting, Andrew, what Harry Derham said when he was on the show. He said they wanted to find out for once and for all if he stayed 3 mile. So they wanted to run him at Down Royal and have him drilled fit and ready to rock and find out if he stayed 3 mile. So it sounds like he's done plenty of work. And for me, like, I don't know, if he's running in a race, left-handed or right-handed, and he's 2-1, and the next in the market is Sam Spinner, and then Vindication away from Ascot, I'm backing him all day long.
I can't, especially the left-handed. I backed him one time when you said this fella's unreal. He went left-handed one day. I've never seen a horse to hate going that way around so much in my life. It was around Ascot against the same horses every day of the week. I back him. I can't have him going this way. Like I tell you, I just can't make heads or tails of him. I'd rather sit back and see him win a 2-1 and go, fair enough, he can go left-handed, he is very good, then go, I'm taking a chance that he jumps around left-handed now. I won't be as confident as you are, but look, it wouldn't surprise me if he does it in the slightest. Yeah, so, yeah, I'm going to take a chance on Fells Hill each way at 28-1. Dave?
I write each way.
Andrew?
Definitely red each way.
And Tom is...
I'm Surname, yeah.
Right. An hour and 20 minutes in, we're on to our final race. Andrew's after going through 8 cans of Guinness already.
We're getting to the best race of the week, potentially.
I have
not the best race, but one of the most competitive races of the week. Yeah,
I've won at a nice price, so I'm really liking it. So we're off to Ascot. 340, the Grade 3 handicap, the Sodexo Gold Cup handicap chase. I'm just getting the bet in 340. Surnames also entered up in this. So it's Vindication, Comanche Red, Blackhorn, Imperial Aura, Whitmore, Voltor, Regal Encore, Master Monarchy, and good God, there's a lot of them in it, okay? Who wants to take it? Tom, you go first this time since you're liking this one.
There's a horse in this who I really like, and if I knew he was running, I'd back him. I'd back him now because I think he's a big price. Is Imperial Aura. Rapid improver last year. That form is simply the bets. Is red hot, that race. Yeah, it's a big if. The stable are flying, but they've also got Vindication, who, interestingly, David Bass has dropped up on Vindication, both here and in the Charlie Hall. So they're not giving anything away as to where they're running. Presumably they'll move 1 or 2 of them around, but yeah, if Imperial Aura runs, I'm really keen on him.
Okay. Andrew?
Yeah, like Imperial Aura is a horse I like a lot. I wasn't sure whether he was going to run or not. The one I landed on was Watmore for Henry Daly. He's in here around 10-1. I'd say one of these horses, whether it is Surname, Vindication, Imperial Aura, will run. The weights will indicate that Watmore will get a very lightweight. He's in off 138. He was 4th in the Close Brothers behind Imperial Aura. He was 4th in a Grade 3 handicap at Kempton before then, over 3 miles. I think there's still improvement to come from this horse. And just early in the season, I'd probably, just on the balance of things, take a chance on something at a lighter weight than lumping around 11, 12. And I'd be prepared to, hold my hands up if some horse, whether it's Imperial or a Vindication, can lump 11, 12 rounds and do it well, then fair enough. They're very good horses. But I take one at a low weight here, and Watmore's the one I landed on. He's 10-1, I think. So it's not a bad each way price.
Very good. Dave?
I hope Surname runs here, and if he does, I'll back him. If not, I hope Imperial Aura runs, and I'd be strong on him then. But it's obviously all to do with who runs where. But if they both ran, I'd side with Surname.
One I like, at a big price, the 20 to 1, is John Joe O'Neill's Django. He won the Harwell Trophy at Newbury by 4.5 lengths, beating Not a Chance of Alan Kings. He then went up to Catterick for a race he was expected to absolutely hold up. He went off 8-11 and he was fourth. He didn't do anything that day. He didn't jump, he didn't travel. He was gone after the first 2 fences. He's in here off 9 stone 1. I'll go back and watch that race he won. He absolutely travelled, jumped, came and won his race. He went away at the finish. He was very visually impressive. That stayed in my mind, and I was waiting for this year to see him out today. Run again. He's 20 to 1, 9 stone 1. Probably what's going to be soft ground with all the rain that's coming during the weekend. I'm really sweetening his chances about 20, 25 to 1. And Breed, we're done.
There we go, eventually.
Right, we'll have a recap and we'll have our naps and next best. Dave, go naps, next best each way.
Each way is alright. My nap is.
He just did that backwards.
Sure, so no what. My nap is next destination, and my next best would be Sam Crow, believe it or not.
Okay. Andrew?
Well, my nap comes in a race we didn't cover. There's a good race at Carlisle on Sunday, the Lost in Translation one last year. And a cliff horse of mine is this Windsor Avenue for Brian Ellison. He's had a wind up. I think he might be more tuned up than a few of the other entries. So he'd be my nap. Next best, definitely Red in the Charlie Hall Chase. I think he's a solid enough option. And each way, Wolf Prince in the handicap hurdle at Down Royal on the Saturday. I think it's the 150. He had a nice little spin on the flat there the other day. Has some decent enough juvenile form and might be well treated off. I think 136. So those are my 3.
Tom?
Come back to me, Andrew. You go next. I'm still deciding.
An hour and a half in, you still don't know who you're at.
It's tough.
Right, my nap is Time Hill running in the Bet365 hurdle. My next best is Easy Game running on Saturday at Down Royal at 3 o'clock. And my each way is Django in the Sodexo Gold Cup at Ascot. Do I need to keep stalling, Tom?
No, we'll go for it. My nap is the one I'm certain about. Is Time Hill. I'm really sweet on him. My next best, if he ran, would be Surname in the Charlie Hall. And my each way is Imperial Aura. They cross over a lot. I do think Presenting Percy will win before I get slated for not napping our next best.
I'm surprised he's not your nap 5 points win.
No, there's just the nap. The next best and the each way. There's just crossovers there if they run against each other, if they don't run and stuff.
Fair enough. Right, after an hour and a half, we're finally done. So, Andrew, thanks for joining us again tonight.
Yeah, pleasure being on. Thanks, lads.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks, Andrew.
Again, lads, thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed to us, click the subscribe button, give us a like. Comment below who you think is your best bet of the weekend, and head over to Andrew's YouTube channel as well for all of his tips for the weekend. So again, lads, thanks for watching.
Andrew, hang on. We've got to get this out of you first before we go.
What? Me?
Not the guest, Andrew. Sorry, the presenter, Andrew. Your hype horse on Saturday, will he beat Ballyadam?
What? Say again. What?
Your hype horse on Saturday, will he beat Ballyadam?
Who's running on Saturday?
Bob O'Linger.
Yeah, well, he will.
Very good. I just wanted to get you on camera saying that.
That was a good. I like that face you made, Andrew Blair. There. Yeah, not a hope.
Who was you running against again?
Ballyadam.
Ballyadam.
Who's he running against?
The horse that Jamie Codd has said, and who rides Envoy Allen has said is better than Envoy Allen.
What's Jamie Codd now?
Okay.
Who is he? Who is Jamie Codd?
I don't know. I'll get on to Jay there and tell him to not feed him for the next 2 days so he doesn't run.
Yeah, that's your way out of it. Keep an eye on Segerad as well. Apparently, he's very, very smart. He runs in the bumper at Down Royal.
What's his name again?
Segerad. He's like favourite for the champion bumper. He won a point-to-point. Cheveley Park bought him. He's with Gordon Elliott.
Will do. Right. Again, lads, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next week for some Breeders' Cup if you want it. If not, we're not doing it. Okay. We are.
I love the Breeders' Cup. It's class.
We do a Breeders' Cup. Yeah!